Welcome back, curious minds. What if your AI didn't wait for you to ask? What if it watched your calendar, read your emails, noticed a conflict, and quietly fixed it before you even opened your laptop? That is no longer science fiction. Google has built exactly that. It's called Gemini Spark, formerly known internally as Remy, and it represents the most significant shift in how we interact with AI since the chatbot itself. This is not another assistant that answers questions. This is an agent that acts. At its core, Gemini Spark is a persistent, always-on agent that lives in the background of your digital life. It doesn't need you to open a chat window. It doesn't need a prompt. It simply watches the signals you leave behind. Calendar entries, email threads, document changes, even your location patterns. And it acts on them. The value proposition is simple but profound. Time. How many hours do you lose every week to small decisions, small follow-ups, small administrative tasks? Spark doesn't eliminate those tasks. It removes the decision fatigue around them. For the busy professional who lives in Google Workspace, for the executive whose calendar is a battlefield, for the parent trying to coordinate family life across 3 apps, this is the difference between reacting to your week and actually directing it. What makes Spark different from every other agent we've covered is the depth of its integration. It isn't bolted on through APIs. It is native to the Google ecosystem in a way no third-party agent can ever be. It sees your Gmail not as data to be summarized, but as a living conversation it can participate in. It treats your Google Calendar not as a static schedule, but as a dynamic plan it can reshape. And because it runs on Google Cloud infrastructure, it maintains state even when your devices are off. The agent keeps working while you sleep. This persistence changes everything. Most agents today are session-based. You open them, you ask, they respond. They forget. Spark is different. It maintains a contextual graph, a living map of your preferences, your relationships, your recurring patterns that grows richer the longer you use it. The longer it knows you, the more valuable it becomes. Here's the part that surprised even me. Spark doesn't just predict the next word. It predicts the next 3 actions you might want to take, simultaneously. It uses something called multi-token prediction drafters, powered by Gemma 4. These are lightweight specialist models that run in parallel, each one simulating a different possible future. One drafter might sketch out, "We schedule the 3 p.m. meeting." Another might draft the email that explains why. A third might check your team's availability and propose 2 better slots. All of this happens before you even open the notification. The contextual graph is the real secret sauce. Unlike traditional memory systems that store flat conversation history, Spark builds a living knowledge graph of your world. It knows that the Q3 planning doc is the same as the document Sarah sent last Thursday, and that both relate to the budget review meeting on your calendar. This graph updates in real time as your files, emails, and schedule change. The unified tool middleware is equally clever. Instead of treating each app as a separate integration, Spark abstracts them into semantic actions. Send an update to the team can mean different things depending on context. It might draft a Slack message, update a Google Doc, or post to a Jira ticket. The agent chooses the right channel based on your historical patterns. The safety layer is equally sophisticated. Every autonomous action is logged in an audit trail. You can review why it made a decision, and with one command, roll back an entire sequence of actions. This is not a black box making decisions about your life. It is a glass box with a very clear undo button. What makes this architecture powerful is that it was designed from day one for persistence. Most agents are ephemeral. They exist only while you're interacting with them. Spark is designed to run 24/7 on Google Cloud infrastructure, maintaining state across devices, time zones, and even when you're completely offline. The agent continues its work while you sleep and surfaces the results when you're ready. Google has been characteristically quiet about traditional benchmarks for Spark. What they have shared is more interesting than raw scores. In internal testing, Spark completed a 35-hour continuous workflow involving over 1,100 tool calls without human intervention. That is not a benchmark number. That is a stamina demonstration. The architecture is designed for long horizon autonomy, the kind of multi-day, multi-step projects that usually require a human project manager. Where it shines is not in answering questions faster than GPT, 5, 5, or Claude Opus 4.7. It shines in the unglamorous work of keeping the machine of your life running without you having to oil every gear. Let me paint a picture of what this actually looks like on a Tuesday morning. You wake up, your phone shows 3 notifications from Spark. One says, I noticed your 9 a.m. client call conflicts with the school run. I've proposed moving it to 10:30 and sent a draft to the client in your voice. Would you like me to send it? Another, your internet bill increased again. I've drafted a polite retention request and found 2 comparable providers at 18% less. Shall I proceed? The third, your team's Q3 planning document has 3 open action items assigned to you. I've blocked 45 minutes on Thursday afternoon when your focus time is usually highest. This is not science fiction. This is the lived experience of early users. For the solo founder, it means never dropping a ball on follow-ups. For the parent, it means the mental load of family coordination is finally shared. For the executive, it means walking into every meeting already briefed on the 3 things that actually matter. Let's go deeper on the personal side. Inbox triage is where Spark shows its real power. It doesn't just summarize your emails. It learns your voice over weeks, your sentence structure, your preferred level of formality, even your typical response time. When a vendor follows up on a proposal, Spark can draft a reply that sounds exactly like you wrote it at 11 p.m. after 2 coffees. You review, approve, and it sends. The vendor never knows an agent touched it. Digital errands are equally transformative. Need to cancel a subscription you've been meaning to drop for months? Spark monitors the renewal date, drafts the cancellation request in your voice, and can even negotiate a retention offer if the provider pushes back. It tracks price drops on items you viewed and can add them to a watch list that notifies you only when the drop meets your threshold. Travel orchestration is where the ambient nature becomes almost eerie. Spark can plan an entire trip, flights, hotels, ground transport, restaurant reservations, while automatically updating shared calendars and expense reports in real time. If a flight is delayed, it rebooks alternatives and notifies everyone affected before you even check your phone. The health and wellness angle is surprisingly practical. Spark monitors your calendar density, your fitness tracker data, and your sleep patterns. If it sees 3 consecutive days of back-to-back meetings with declining sleep scores, it will proactively suggest and book a recovery activity, a yoga class, a massage, even a meal prep service, before you hit burnout. It coordinates with your partner's calendar so the activity fits both of your schedules. This is the difference between an assistant that waits for instructions and an agent that protects your most valuable resource, your attention. How does this compare to the other agents we've covered? OpenClaw is self-evolving and brilliant at long-running terminal workflows, but it requires you to invoke it. It is a tool you reach for, not an ambient presence. Claude Code is the best terminal-first coding agent available today. But it lives in the terminal. It excels at deep coding sessions but has no awareness of your calendar, your email, or your broader digital life. Agent Zero is powerful and self-hosted, but you have to maintain the infrastructure. It gives you full control at the cost of operational overhead. Spark is different. It is the only agent that is truly ambient. It doesn't need you to open anything. It doesn't need you to remember to check it. It is simply there, watching, anticipating, acting. The trade-off is obvious. You are giving Google an unprecedented view into the rhythm of your life. Every email, every meeting, every document change becomes training data for how you work. For some people, that trade-off will be unacceptable. Privacy-conscious users and those who prefer explicit, session-based AI interactions will likely wait for more self-hosted alternatives. For others, especially those already living inside Google Workspace, the convenience may be irresistible. The depth of native integration simply cannot be matched by any third-party agent, no matter how sophisticated. This is the core tension of ambient agency in 2026. The more an agent knows about you, the more valuable it becomes. But that knowledge comes at a cost. Spark makes that trade-off explicit, and it is up to each user to decide whether the convenience outweighs the visibility. Spark is currently available only to Google AI Ultra subscribers and Gemini Enterprise customers. That is a deliberate gate. Google is not rushing this to the mass market. They are rolling it out to the users who already pay for the highest tier of their ecosystem. the users whose lives are already deeply entangled with Google's tools. This is not a product for the casual ChatGPT user. This is a product for the power user who has already chosen the Google Garden and is now being offered a very sophisticated gardener. Let me be direct. This level of ambient agency requires an enormous amount of trust. Every time Spark acts on your behalf, it is making the judgment call about what you would have wanted. Sometimes, it will be wrong. The audit trail and rollback features mitigate the damage, but they don't eliminate the fundamental tension. You are outsourcing small decisions to a system that cannot truly know your intent. Used well, it is liberating. Used poorly, it becomes another source of notification noise and quiet frustration. So who should try Gemini Spark? If you already live in Google Workspace, if your calendar is a battlefield, if you are drowning in small decisions that someone else could handle, this may be the most important agent release of 2026. If you value your privacy above all else, or if you prefer to keep your AI interactions explicit and session-based, you can safely wait. The link to try it is in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, curious minds.